Microphone check 1 2 1 2. I hope I'm not echoing. I just wanted to hop on here real quick because I just wanted to talk about friends. How many of us have them? I just had the pleasure of hanging out with one of my friends of over 20 plus years. We've known each other since we were teens, and we just haven't hung out in a long time. It was her son's birthday. He's Scorpio. Shout out to the Scorpios. It is Scorpio season. We also love you Libras and Virgos. Okay, you guys are our neighboring zodiac signs. So yeah, I just want to talk about friends. How many of us have them? And this is, I don't know where this is going to go because I'm not going to say I'm not going to stay on here long. Hey, pineapples. I just had the pleasure of hanging out with one of my friends last night. She's more like family. She's not just a friend. And, it was just a beautiful. And it made me realize how, this pandemic, since the pandemic started, we haven't really been able to hang out or do things and enjoy things. And I did not have a mask on when I went skating, but I've had my booster, and I felt confident that were we're going to be okay. And it does. I'm not trying to tell you guys to let your guard downs or anything like that, but enjoy yourself, hang out with your friends and family. Um, it is just, I just feel like, even though I know that a lot of people have been doing things, I haven't been really hanging out that much, and I just want to really go skating at least twice or maybe 3 times a month. My friend and I were going to go get some light up skates, and it was a great workout. Friends, how many of us have them? And a lot of us lost friends over the years to either COVID or whatever um, unfortunate tragedy. So life is short. I hope that you guys enjoy life. I'm going to actually go to the beach and study. I'm doing great in school. Um, and I graduate in May. This semester is going to be done. It's going to be over in a couple of months. I start my externship next month. And hold on 1 second. I'm no longer wearing a mask except when I go to the doctors. Yeah, I'm not wearing masks either, and it feels good. I'm even, in class. Sometimes I don't wear one, and you know, and I feel good. It feels really good. Let me go get my headphones really quick because I know it sounds better when I have headphones on when I'm on this thing. Um, so yeah, how do you guys feel about, this is 2020, so we're 3 years into the pandemic. How do you guys feel? Are you guys letting your guard down a little bit? Are you not wearing masks? Are you going out with friends more? How do you feel moving forward? I feel good. People are still getting colds here and there. We have to remember people still get the common cold. And I'm just so grateful. I'm grateful. Thank you for all the birthday wishes. Hold on. Um, this was my fourth sober birthday. My fourth sober birthday. And I'm going to be moving into my fifth year of sobriety, January 1st of 2023. And I'm so grateful. Shout out to Little Mama's Kodak Moments. She has 6 months. She said that I can share with the platform that she has 6 months. And also shout out to my girl, Labrina. She said I could also share on my platform that she has 4 months. And also shout out to my silent person that I'm helping. I'm hoping she has 2.5 weeks. I got to go check on you. But if you guys don't know, my name is Keisha and I'm a recovering alcoholic. I have almost 5 years of sobriety, and I've helped a couple people on this platform realize that drinking has made their life unmanageable and that they may possibly be alcoholics. So I just want you to know that it is possible. and that if you're painstaking about this phase of your development, if you are just really honest with yourself, if you can, just be really honest with yourself that whatever you're doing, whether it's chemical dependency on alcohol or another chemical dependent drug, if it's making your life unmanageable, seek help, because I did. It wasn't easy. I fell a couple of times, not throughout these 4 years. I mean, I'm not going to say I fell off a couple of times. Relapsing. I mean, I've had emotional relapses, things like that. But I, just one day at a time, principles before personalities. And I hope you guys just hang in there. I know it can be hard, but I know if you're honest with yourself and you speak up and you talk about how you feel, it can work out. It really can. So yeah, I guess I'm just going to ramble a little bit because that's the spirit is leading me. I'm alive, you guys. I am 42 years old. I'm in the 42nd chapter of my life. I stopped drinking alcohol when I was 37 years old. And it's been one of the best decisions I've made in my life. I am back in school. I went to medical assisting school and got and obtained a California certified certificate when I was 22, but then I lost it all when I was in my 30s, trying to be a functioning alcoholic, allowing the disease to take me down and down into rock bottom. And, lost a first husband, and also a second marriage did not work out, almost completely destroyed my relationship with my eldest son, and put my other two younger children through hell. And I have to quite honestly say, like, I am grateful that I am not in the situation as some of the mommies that we've seen. I thank God for the grace, because see, I've talked about grace on my channel, and people don't understand is what is grace? What is grace from God? Grace is different for everyone. For me, if I had to talk about God's grace in the situation of me being an alcoholic, well, God gave me grace when he allowed me to live in 2017 when I almost died in front of my family. God gave me grace by allowing me to live and then allowing me to act a fool after God let me live. And I drank for 8 months dangerously after God let me live. Now, you would think that's like playing in God's face, Keisha. You were completely playing in God's face. Yes, I was. I was playing in God's face, and God gave me grace. He allowed me to act a fool. He didn't let me die. And then finally, I didn't want to live like that. I didn't want to die as an alcoholic. I didn't want to leave my children. I did not want that to be the end of me. So I humbly got on my knees and I asked God to save me. And I surrendered. And I surrendered to God, and I surrendered to my God, and I said, my God, my life is unmanageable. Alcohol has consumed every aspect of my life, and I don't know how to get out of it. I cannot stop drinking. I didn't understand. I had so much control over so many aspects of my life, but I could not stop drinking until December 31st of 2017 at 5:30 p.m. was my last drink. And I willingly surrendered to God. I willingly asked God to help me. I've asked God to help me before, but this was like, I really, really asked God to help me because I knew that I was going to die that way if I did not surrender and ask for God's help. So, I started this platform to share my story, and whether it gets like numbers or not, I know that on this platform within the past 3 years of me being on here, I've helped at least 2 people, and that was my goal. I appreciate the support, and the likes and the comments and the laughs and all that stuff. But don't get it twisted. Don't ever think that I'm here for clout chasing of any sort. I'm here for a good kiki and a laugh, and I like to share things. But my main goal and purpose here on my platform is to share my story. Even though I know you guys see a lot of other videos, but that's just, it's a hobby. But I do appreciate the support. But if you're struggling with alcohol dependency, let me just talk to the alcoholics. If you're listening, somebody's an alcoholic out there, or they think they are an alcoholic. You can do it. If you can't do it today, try to do it tomorrow. One day at a time, one moment at a time. If you can't put the drink down right now, maybe you can put it down and fill your cup up with some water or a bubbly soda or something, just anything. You can go to a Zoom meeting. You can go to online meetings. There's this meeting online. You guys can look it up. People go to it from all over the world. It's called the 319. I'm only going to tell you the number. It's called 319. Look it up. It's a meeting, and that's all I'm going to say. And if you can find out how to get there, it will bless you. It will definitely, definitely bless you. I'm glad you realized that you needed help. That's why you're here to share your story with us today. Yes, thank you. Thank you. It's a very scary thing to admit that you're powerless over something. Nobody wants to admit that they're powerless over anything. That's a horrible thing to ask somebody to admit that they're powerless. But as Father, I'm going to quote Father Martin. He's passed on, but I used to listen to a lot of his videos, and he would say, you can't see the forest because the trees are in the way. So how I look at that, alcoholics can't see life because all the bottles are in the way. They can't see life because you're too worried about the next drink. You're too worried about feeding the disease. And that could be with anything, but I'm more experienced with alcoholism. So I'm going to talk about that. I thank God that I wake up and I don't have to have a drink. There can be a time in an alcoholic's life to where the only thing they can do to get well and to keep moving is to have a drink in the morning. And a lot of people think that, oh, I'm not an alcoholic because I don't drink in the morning, or I'm not an alcoholic because I don't drink every day. That doesn't mean anything. You don't have to be an alcoholic to not drink. You don't have to not drink in the morning to be an alcoholic. You don't have to not drink every day to be an alcoholic. Alcoholism is a progressive disease, and a disease is exactly what it is. I didn't realize that it was a disease until 20 years ago when I was working as a medical assistant. I would take the chief complaints from the patients. A chief complaint is a patient's concise, like in their words, what's going on with them. But when I took these chief complaints 20 years ago, we were switching over from file to this system called Epic. It's a computer software file version of a patient's chart or patient information. And in this chief complaint, we had to ask more questions on health maintenance. Like, we had to ask how many drinks you would drink in a week or a day, or if you drink daily. So anyways, what I'm trying to get at is when I was in my 20s and I started to, check in patients, and I would ask them these questions that were new to our system, I started to also do an inventory of myself. I was like, wow, I kind of drink more than a couple of times a week. Wow, and it slowly started to build into drinking every other day, to sometimes there were weeks where I drank daily. There were times where I would finish a whole a whole wine bottle. And instead of sharing it, or instead of having the wine stay on the table for a couple of days or whatever, or in the refrigerator for a couple of days, I would actually finish a whole wine bottle. And that's not cute after a while. I mean, then it turns into sometimes problem drinking. Oh, I had a hard day. I need a drink to feel better. Or I had a breakup, you know. And then after the problem drinking, it turns into the obsession. The obsession is I can't stop drinking, or I need that drink, or making sure that somebody um, brings you a drink so you don't have to go back out, so you don't get a DUI. Just like all of these things to do, all this planning around alcohol. It's crazy. It's mind-boggling, but it makes sense to the alcoholic. How dare you talk to the alcoholic about their drinking? Because us alcoholics, we can handle our liquor. That's one of the first signs. When people start telling you about yourself, people start telling you about your drinking, they start telling you stories about how, how you acted, and it's embarrassing. It's humiliating. So then sometimes we start drinking alone, and that can be the start of a slippery slope. That drinking alone is something that can truly take you out, and definitely lead to the compulsion of drinking. There is a book called Living Sober, and in the first page of the booklet that I'm going to suggest you guys read it. If you're having a hard time, you can find it. It's a booklet. It's not really like a book, but it really takes you step by step to help you. If you don't want to go and read like the huge AA book, they have these little books, and one's called Living Sober, and it's a cool little booklet. So go ahead and check it out. Maybe I'll get on here and start reading some of this to you guys. But one thing it does say in Living Sober, I'm going to read this title: remembering that alcoholism is a incurable, progressive, and fatal disease. Remembering that alcohol is an incurable, progressive, and fatal disease. One of my longtime friends is an alcoholic. I am just realizing it recently, but she's still in denial. Yes, a lot of us are in denial for a very long time because we don't want to hear how others see drinking, how it's affecting us, how it's affecting us, how it's affecting others. There's something called using the 24-hour plan. And I'll just read a little bit. In our drinking days, we often had such bad times that we swore never again. We took pledges for as long as a year, or promised someone we would not touch the stuff for 3 weeks or 3 months. And of course, we tried going on the wagon for various periods of time. We were absolutely sincere when we voiced these declarations. Through gritted teeth, with our hearts, we wanted never to be drunk again. We were determined. We swore off drinking altogether, intending to stay off alcohol well into some indefinite future. Yet, in spite of our intentions, the outcome was almost inevitably the same. Eventually, the memory of vows and of the suffering that led to them faded. We drank again, and we wound up in more trouble. Our dry forever had not lasted very long. And some of us who took such pledges had a private reservation. We told ourselves that the promise not to drink applied only to hard stuff, not to beer or wine. And the way we learned, if we did not already know it, the beer and wine could get us drunk too. It just had we just had to drink a little bit more to get the same effect. We got it on distilled spirits. We got distilled spirits. We wound it up drunk on beer or wine as we had been before on the hard stuff. And I've heard people say that they go, "Oh, I don't drink that hard stuff." So they think because they don't drink hard alcohol that they're not alcoholics or they're not, they're not problem drinkers or that they don't have a hard time with alcohol, but it just takes you longer to get there. It's the same stuff, you know. Although we realize that alcoholism is a permanent, irreversible condition, our experience has taught us to make no long-term promises about staying sober. We have found it more realistic and more successful to say, I am not taking a drink just for today. And I think that's been working for me. Even though I have almost 5 years, I I say I'm not going to drink today because you never know what's going to happen. You never know. We all just have today or right now. If the desire to drink is really strong, many of us chop the 24 hours down into smaller parts. We decide not to drink for, say, at least 1 hour. We can endure the temporary discomfort of not drinking for just one more hour, then one more, and so on. For many of us began our recovery in just this way. In fact, every recovery from alcoholism began with one sober hour. Yes. Yes. Good live. I'm going to share with my friend. She says all the things you said. She claims she doesn't drink heavy stuff anymore. Yeah. Well, because the thing is, that's the part of the denial. Hey, Nina. Hey, sweetheart. Oh, I'm so glad to see you, sweetie. I'm at 13%. I need to plug in my phone because, yeah. Hey, sweetie. Thanks for being here. I hope I hope you and your family are doing well. I know we haven't talked in several months, but I'm glad to see you, sweetie. I'm glad that you're here. I'm gonna go grab my charger. Hey, Novell, do you got a charger? Are are you using it? What percent are you at? Never mind, it's fine. I got a charger. I'm telling you, these kids be jacking my chargers. Yeah, so I'm just so grateful to be able to help others and to just share my story. I do, I think that it's good to share your experience, strength, and hope because sometimes, oh, I'm glad I was able to catch your live. I'm glad that you're able to catch it too. I didn't plan to get on here. And, I just, like I said, I really appreciate the mommy sector and all the other sectors that support me. But I got to get on here and talk about recovery. I'm really grateful to be alive. I'm grateful to be able to still have a voice to share with others what I've gone through and that I'm still here. And yeah, I do. There's times where I slip. I have the desire. I think, oh my God, I could have a drink, but I have to remind myself to drink is to die. And I have a disease and it's called alcoholism, and I can no longer even entertain the idea that I can drink safely because I can't. I can never drink safely ever. So Getting active is a good thing to do. I'm going to read a little bit of that. It is very hard to just sit still, trying not to do a certain thing or not even to think about it. It's much easier to get active and do something else rather than act like we're trying to avoid it. So, yeah, get active, go outside, do some stretching, do some yoga, do some journaling. Journaling really did help me. Um, I even started journaling a little bit when I wasn't well before I decided to put it down. And going back and reading what I journaled really encouraged me to get it together because I was like, okay, I need some help here. Okay. And it's okay. Taking a course. I'm doing that right now. Taking a course. Have you always wished you could speak Swahili or Russian, enjoy history or math, instead understand archaeology or anthropology, correspondence courses, instruction in public television or adult classes for pleasure, not necessarily for credit? That me you could do that. I'm just reading little things just to encourage you guys to get up and get out. Starting a long neglected chores, cleaning out drawers, cleaning, just doing stuff, changing your old routines. There's so much you can do. Okay. So, and the Serenity Prayer didn't just start with like recovery. There's so many versions of the Serenity Prayer. And this is where it reads this: idle time is the devil's playground. That's right. I agree. AA did not originate with the version of the Serenity Prayer. Okay. So it is, let me see, where can I find this piece of text where it says versions of it seem to have been used for centuries in various faiths, and now it's widely current outside of AA within the fellowship. So let's check it out. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Good morning, Dragon. So sometimes when I'm going through a hard time, I break this Serenity Prayer apart. So I'm going to use the dissolution. I laugh at just wrong time sometime. I'm going to break this Serenity Prayer down and make it personal. Okay. Because y'all know, I'm going through a breakup. I was married for almost a decade, second time. And God, I'm talking to God right now about my second marriage. God, and then I'm going to pick it apart. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. I cannot change the mind of my ex, the courage to change the things I can, but I have the courage to accept this reality and act accordingly and move on with my life, and the wisdom to know the difference. The difference is my wisdom to know the difference is no matter what, even though we're not together, we are living well and we are thriving, both of us. And so, and it's better for the whole family. And so sometimes I do things like that. I'll break down the Serenity Prayer. Like for instance, let's see. Let's make it personal for Olivia. God, grant me the serenity to accept the thing. This is okay. Let's get serious because we ain't playing with God. I'm really going to turn it into the mommy sector. God, this is for you, Olivia. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. I cannot change the way Olivia behaves, the courage to change the things that I can, but I can give it all up to you, God, and the wisdom to know the difference. The difference is, I'm just accepting, watching, and giving it up to God. That's the nicest way I can do that prayer for her because I really don't know what else to say. Thank you for the thumbs up. So it's good to make the the Serenity Prayer personal. When you feel like you don't know what to do, acceptance is the answer to all of my problems today. Changing your old routines, also making use of telephone therapy, giving somebody a call that you feel that that can listen to you. I mean, of course, you don't want to like unload everything on that person. If you're able to get a sponsor, get an accountability partner, get a team. You know, also getting plenty of rest for at least three reasons. People who drink heavily often cannot realize how tired, they don't realize how tired they are. The reasons are three characteristics of alcohol: it's full of calories, which gives instant energy. Wait. It's full of calories, which gives instant energy. It numbs the central nervous system. That's why everybody likes to drink so much, because it numbs you out. And it numbs the central nervous system so that one could not fully feel discomfort. Um, After the aesthetic effect wears off, it produces agitation, and that feels like nervous energy. Yes. Have anyone experienced that, and anyone else that is a heavy drinker or has a problem with alcohol? Or does anyone know anybody who just cannot go anywhere without having alcohol, either in their purse, or they know that there's access to it nearby? That is a chore. I mean, it is hard when you have to cater to that disease. Thoughts of a drink seem to sneak into our minds much more smoothly and than when we're alone. So that's true. When people are alone and you're struggling with alcohol, you definitely have thoughts of drinking. And some people think, oh, I don't drink alone, so I'm not an alcoholic. Well, one day it will get there. It's just being grateful. Be grateful to know that these thoughts maybe come up in your head that, oh, do I have a problem? If that question has ever come up in your head, then I think that it's a good um, idea to ask yourself these questions. I actually have the questions. I'll do that another video. I got to get to studying. I'm studying the digestive system, and that's what I'm doing next. I did really well on it was the respiratory system. I'm going to say I got like an 88 or 89. I'm in the 80s. I'm in the B. I'm that B. I'm that B. So yeah, I need to study. I enjoy talking about alcoholism. I'm grateful that I don't have to drink um, at all. I do have to work on my emotional sobriety every single day, and I have to check myself. And that's, I'm a work in progress, and that's okay. I hope that if you're struggling with alcohol and you're wondering if you have a problem, just listen to others, experience strength and hope. And if you keep listening to others, eventually you're going to hear your story within our story. Might be different, but you'll hear yourself, and you won't feel so alone. You'll be like, wow, I've done that too, or I felt that way too, or wow, I've blacked out, or, you know, a lot of times if our family and friends are telling us about ourselves, that means we blacked out a couple of times. We've had some gray blackout moments, and that means that the disease is trying to completely take over. We have to keep it under arrest. We have to keep it under arrest. I don't mind being around others who want to drink, but I know that when it's time to go, when people are online, do I watch people that seem like they're heavily drunk? I mean, to a certain extent, then I stop watching. It's okay. Know your limits, have your boundaries, be true to yourself. You know, God grant us the serenity to accept the things we cannot change, the courage to change the things we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. So just know step one, has your life become unmanageable because of alcohol? What's unmanageable? What's unmanageable to you might be different unmanageability to someone else. What does unmanageable look like? Are you not showing up when you should? Are you calling in to work? Are you acting a little out of character? Are your character defects showing out more than usual? Are you becoming less reliable? Are you fighting with, oh, okay, block you? Are you fighting with your family members and your friends? Are you losing your ambition? Ask yourself these things. I have the actual the list that, and I'll come back another time with the list that you can ask yourself if you are an alcoholic, or do you struggle with chemical dependency? And there's also a questionnaire if you're struggling with an eating disorder. There's many questions, you know. All of us have something. I remember I was talking to my teacher the other day, and she said that, she sometimes she keeps me in mind, when we're sharing in the classroom. Sometimes people go off on tangents about alcohol this or alcohol that, and she's like, oh yeah, I try to, I'm mindful of you. And a lot of us recovering alcoholics, we don't want we're grateful that normal drinkers or people that don't have problems are mindful of our disease. They're like, oh yeah, oh I'm sorry, or should I not drink in front of you, or oh I'm sorry I talked about alcohol. It's not like we're babies. I mean, unless somebody is like, look, I can't be around that or whatever. It's kind of, I'm going to speak as an recovering alcoholic myself. For me, as a recovering alcoholic, I'm not going to say it's embarrassing, but I'm going to say this: it's not necessary to act as if we can't be around, or if I'm in that situation, or if I'm viewing something, or if I'm in the environment when there's alcohol, like, you don't have to call it out like, oh, I'm sorry, is this okay, or is this, no, you're not pouring it down my throat. I'm a grown woman. I hope that others that are in recovery, or maybe if they're struggling, that they also can, you know, have their boundaries, or, not worry about others and what they're doing. You can simply just walk away. You don't have to be in that environment. Um, but yeah, this is my fourth sober birthday. I'm 42, but I am 4 years sober, and I'm moving into my fifth year. I'm grateful. I don't have to drink today. I thank God. I have so much gratitude. All of those that encourage me. Shout out to Keith. Thank you, Keith, so much. Thank you, Keep It Moving Ministries. Thank you, Pastor Keith. I am so grateful for all of your videos that I continue to watch, to kind of filter out whatever negative things that I feel like, I'm not just saying negative things on YouTube, but sometimes it's good to just take a break and to do you. And I'm going to go to the beach right now. Didn't I say I was going to go to the beach? I want to go to the beach, and I'm going to study the digestive system. If you're painstaking about this phase of your development, you'll be amazed before you're halfway through. You'll know a new freedom and a new happiness. You won't regret the past nor wish to shut the door on it. You'll comprehend the word serenity, and you will know peace. No matter how far down the scale you go, you'll see how your experience can benefit others. That feeling of uselessness and self-pity will disappear. You will lose interest in selfish things and gain interest in your fellows. Self-seeking will slip away. Your whole attitude and outlook upon life will change. Fear of people and economic insecurity will leave you. You will intuitively handle situations which used to baffle you. You'll suddenly realize that God is doing for you what, oh, somebody's calling me, what not doing for yourselves. Is that extravagant promises? We think not. They're being fulfilled sometimes quickly, sometimes slowly. They'll always materialize if you work for them. See you guys later. Love you. Bye. don't. I did not know I was still on here. Hold on. I hate that. I didn't know I was still on here. Oops. Hold on. Are you laughing at me, Craig or Novell? Okay. I hate that when there's trolls up in here. Sorry, I took a call and I thought that I ended the live, but I did not. Okay. Bye, you guys.